Sight unseen. Have you ever had something that's kind of like a trivial decision, and maybe it seemed trivial at the time, but it really turned into something else? And in my life, I'll give you an example as you're thinking about that. I went to this philosophy group for a while just for something to do, in the meantime when I wasn't working. And I ended up meeting a dude there who we ended up starting a business together. He became a business partner in the future. And that was not if I wasn't planning on that. It just sort of happened. Have you ever had any kind of serendipitous things like that?
I think so. I worked at a job for 10 years that I was really trying to get out of. And that's when I started applying for remote work. But my resume didn't have anything on it related to that work, namely Riverside, making videos and such. And so I started making videos with what I had, talking about podcasting. And, it was very small views, like, sometimes under 100, sometimes a couple hundred, but I was just doing it. And when I eventually applied to Riverside, they saw those videos. And because I chose to make them with excellence as best as I could with the tools that I had, it came through. And they were like, this is great. Like, you have an ability to explain these things, and we need that. And it was just a serendipitous, like, I did not make those videos specifically as some kind of resume or portfolio. And I don't even know if I shared them specifically on my resume, but they found them. And the fact that I did them and they were there, that's what helped me get my foot in the door, to change jobs in a totally new field in a 100% remote position. And just made it all possible.
That's interesting. Yeah, I love that mentality because sometimes that requires like hope for the future, right? Like I'm just going to do whatever I can right now, and look what it turned into. It's funny because that's kind of how I met Apple. I was making these videos in my basement, basically, and it was like the dream to do something like with actually Apple. And then I made a HomePod video. It's when the original HomePod came out, not expecting anything, and then all of a sudden, someone from the Siri team got in touch and they're like, hey, can we chat? And I was like, oh, yeah. And it was like the beginning of kind of that PR relationship. But it's the same exact thing.
Hey, it's Chris. I'm the host here at Sight Unseen, and if you're new, I'm super glad you found us. We're all about mapping creative, effective, productive, successful minds, just giving you access to extraordinary people with their insights and stories that you just would never encounter normally. Now, if you want more content like this, all you have to do is hit subscribe. If you want access to the full interview and many others like it, that's linked up down below. We also have an amazing weekly newsletter, which boils down in a succinct format all the insights and recommendations of our guests that can really level up your life. And don't forget, we're on X as well. Everything's linked up down below. Thanks for joining us, and I'll catch you in the next one.